very heavily female-centered focus, powerful and characters. When it started, it was still, kind of a guy's world, Dragon Ball Z and whatnot. But this show really put forward the strong female characters. What was it like for both y'all to be a part of that?
Magic.
Here's the thing, right? So many shows are all male. And it's a really weird thing. The world is half male and half female. And yet for some weird reason, they seem to want to focus on the male stories. To this day, when we go out for auditions, they'll put all the sides out. Sides are the lines that they have, all the different the scripts for each character. And you'll go to an audition and they'll have, maybe 20 different characters all lined up. Boom, 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 boom. They'll say, pick whichever ones you think you'd be good at. And so you go along and you're looking at all 20 of these different characters, and I'm gonna say 15 of those 20 are male. And the other 5 are female. One of which is the mom, one of which is the little sister. And it's like, what the heck? And then the guys will have all these ones like, he blows his mind with this, he's got all this stuff that he wants to do. And he's just like bigger than life. And you're like, I want to do that one. It's a man. Yeah, so Sailor Moon was like the first of having these strong, really great, flawed women. That was one of the keys to them, is that they all had their flaws, which made them so human, and it was just so wonderful to play that.
Yeah. What about you?
What was the question again?
You're probably still
playing a strong female. Yeah.
Are they still thinking about how to throw them under the bus?
No.
I don't see a problem when there's like 15 male getting in here. She's absolutely right. She's right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's amazing to do that. I've been lucky enough because Totally Spies is the same thing. I feel like I've been really lucky for 2 shows to do that. I just think it's an important, like if it's just personal to me, yes, it's amazing to have all these superpowers, I thought. But just as a whole, to add to what Linda's saying, I just think it's really important so that everybody watching these shows can see that we are very strong.
Yeah.
Strong women.
Yeah. And, and again, for an OG show like this, really, but in the 90s too. That's when it really took off, right? And it really became a thing.
That might be one of the reasons why, frankly, because it was different.
It was so ahead of its time.
It was.
And if you even think about it, this is not throwing you didn't write it, but Tuxedo Mask is dressed all fancy and shows up late.
There's almost nothing.
Yeah, and throws a rose. Come on. But this is why Ray never ended up with Tuxedo Mask. Ray had no time for that. She probably looked going, what?
And it kind of mirrors what happened. He was a late addition to the panel. See how that works? Yeah. Exactly.
Saunters in.
I'm detecting a bit of a pattern. A little bit.
Can you show the story? I think you showed it publicly already, but about an incident at New York Comic Con, Tom Holland and your daughter, I believe, request.
There's so many of these romantic stories that I have.
This is hilarious.
Well, my daughter, I went to, no, I think that was actually in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tom Holland was there. And I'm like, who? And my daughter's like, oh my God, Mom, you don't understand. Tom Holland is going to be at this con. I'm like, who is he? She's like, Mom, he's my future husband. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I should be nice to him then. Mom, you have to go over to him and you have to make sure that he knows that I love him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay. So I'm hunting him down the whole weekend. Meanwhile,
I knew who he was.
Katie, of course, knows who he is. She's like, oh my God, I gotta get him, I gotta get a picture with him. Blah, 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 blah.
We called my son Wyatt. We were calling him Wider Man for a little while.
So we're constantly trying to hunt down Tom Holland, which is a little bit elusive. He's kind of tiny, right?
He's a little guy.
Where are you, Tom?
He's not short.
He's actually taller than
He's
me.
not short.
So, and Katie's like, okay, when we see him, we're gonna say this. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, who cares? Whatever. So I get in an elevator. Elevator closes, we're sitting there, blah, 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 blah. How's it going? And then I go, are you Tom Holland? And he goes, nope, don't know who that is. Pushes the button, gets off. And she's like, everything.
But he was actually clever. He didn't even say that. He went, I don't know, am I? And walked off or something like that. And I went,
The best part of the story is it wasn't even Tom Holland.
Yeah, it was John Holland or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Holland.
could have happened. We don't know.
Yeah.
So then they invite us to a party.
Oh, I don't think you're supposed to talk about that.
I won't go all the way into
Do
all the
tell.
details.
Yes,
Dude.
please do tell.
However,
Do tell.
it's a little bit X-rated, some of it. Anyways, they invite us to this party, and Katie goes, you know what, I'm really tired. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I
But
think we
that's
should-"
because it was all up in the hills, and I thought we were going to get murdered. We didn't know who was having the party.
I'm
Katie
detecting a
ruins
pattern
everything.
here. I'm detecting a pattern.
We were going to get kidnapped 100%.
Katie ruins everything all the time. That's the moral of this story. So we don't go to this party. Afterwards, we find out, oh yeah, not only was Tom Holland there, everyone was there.
Oh no.
Tom Holland
I
at
didn't
one
know
point goes
that.
out onto the diving board, jumping up and down, and does one of his Spider-Man
Oh, that's
into the water. Everybody jumps into the water. I don't want to say clothes were off, but I think clothes were off.
The plot
Wink,
thickens.
wink. Yeah.
That's exactly why I didn't.
And the next day, when we're at the con, Tom Holland comes in and he's looking a little bit like maybe there might have been some alcohol involved at that party as well, because he's sort of like, and I'm like, hey, hi. Okay, so I wanted to get my picture taken with you for my daughter. And he's like, yeah, okay. I couldn't run away from me because he was too hungover. And I got my picture with him holding a picture of my daughter. I'm like, she's gonna marry you. And he's just like, actually, she's kind of cute. And I'm like,
She got him when he was weak.
Got it when he was weak, yeah.
And why didn't they go to that party? I'm detecting a pattern. Now!
yes.
Also takes another pattern too. You're worried about getting killed. Remember, they were
Yeah,
getting
running.
killed.
Well, it was
They were
5 in the
getting
morning. I thought I was going to get dumped into that river walk.
It's too shallow. I already thought about it.
killed. Yeah, exactly. Aside from Sailor Mars, is there any other character you would have loved to voice in the universe?
I do play a lot of sports, so I am very similar to Ray. I really am. However, if that character didn't exist, I would say Sailor Jupiter, because yeah,
We got some nods. We got some nods over here.
I would. I mean, it would be close to my personality, so I feel like yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Tuxedo Mask? Any other characters you would have loved to try
I
out?
feel lucky to have done anything I've done, but I was super lucky. I got to play Batman and Spider-Man.
Put that up, yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of
It's
him.
not lost on me. Not lost on me. I like that. You hear that? Never heard of them.
Yeah.
They still give it to me. They still give it to me. Anyway, so that's a blessing and crazy, super cool. So I can't ask for anything more, but Superman next. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you haven't hit all the Trinity
No,
yet, yeah.
I feel so lucky.
he will-
I don't know what to say about that other than if anybody's hiring, I'm available.
Because you were Batman in what, 2004?
Mess it up.
The Batman,
Yeah, the
2000.
Batman 4?
Batman.
Yeah. How did you
Love
put
it,
your
but-
spin on that voice? That voice that's gotta be iconic.
You know, my brother and I were big comic book fans. We were DC guys. We collected
Yeah.
Detective, Batman, Superman, Flash, Spider-Man, Justice League. We were comic book guys. My brother got me into it, and so I just really loved the character. And when I auditioned, I had a bunch of callbacks, and I just really wanted to get it. And there were all these like movie or TV kind of celebrity guys going up for it.
Do
so
the
by
voice.
hook or crook, I lucked out and I landed it. And all I know is the first person I called, the only person I gave it, pardon my French, but gave a shit about it is I called my brother and said, I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Did you do it in the voice too?
I can't remember. Probably I'm Batman.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's time for you guys to step up to the mic and ask questions to the Sailor Moon panel. So go ahead and start lining up here. Get it going, get it going. All right, we'll let the
Do you have any
start
question?
building up here. I got a question for you all. As we get the people to line up here, how would your characters react to the